Hi, my name's Christian, and me and my son Howie, we are going to tell you a story today, and the story is called The Little Red House, and it goes a little bit something like this. Once upon a time, there was a boy, and the boy's name was? Jake. Howie's going to play the part of the boy today. So this is Jake, and Jake was how old?
11.
Jake was 11. Jake lived with his dad. I'm going to play the part of the dad today. Now, I'm sure that everyone during this coronavirus has had times when they've been at home and they felt quite bored. Now, this is exactly what was happening to Jake. Jake was having one of those days when he was really bored. He didn't know what to do. He didn't want to play on his computer. He didn't want to watch TV.
He didn't want to go on his tablet. He didn't want to read. He didn't want to do anything.
He didn't want to play games in his bedroom. He didn't have a brother or a sister, so he had nobody to play with. He was feeling really bored. So he came down to see his dad, and he said to his dad,
I'm so bored.
And his dad said to him, well, why don't you go and watch TV? And Jake said,
I don't want to watch TV.
I don't want to watch TV. How about you go and read one of your books?
Don't want to read a book.
Why don't you go and do a jigsaw?
Don't want to do jigsaw.
And his dad didn't have any other ideas. And so his dad said to him, I know what will keep you interested, excited, having fun. Why don't you go on an adventure? Okay, said Jake. Tell me more, said Jake. So his dad said to him, I've got a perfect adventure for you to go on. I want you to go on an adventure to find something. I want you to go and find, Jake, I want you to find a little red house. Have you got that?
Mm-hmm.
A little red house with no doors, with no windows, but with a star inside. Okay, tell me that, Jake. What was it?
A red house, no doors, no windows, and a star inside?
Correct. Okay, so Jake thought, well, if I'm going to go on an adventure, I'm going to need to take some supplies with me. So he got himself a bag. And in the bag he thought, right, on this journey I'm going to need to take... What are you going to take, Jake? That rhymes. What are you going to take, Jake? He thought, well, I might need some string. You never know. Might get stuck up a tree or need to climb a tree. You need some string. I might need
some binoculars.
Some binoculars. Very important. So you can see what's far away. I might also need
a
torch, just in case
it gets dark.
In case it gets dark and you need to see in somewhere that's dark. And I'm also going to need, very important, this,
crisps?
Some food, some crisps. And he thought, I'll take one pack. No! Make it two. Why not?
I'm going to start eating these.
And he didn't tell his dad that he took 2 packets of crisps. So he thought, I'll start eating one of these packets of crisps right now. So, hang on, is that all you're taking on your adventure, Jake?
No.
No? One more thing?
A biscuit.
A biscuit. So he put all the things in his bag, he zipped up his bag, he put it on his back, and he set out on his adventure. Now, this adventure was before the coronavirus, so Jake was allowed to go out of the house on his own, and he was 11 years old, so he was old enough to go out. And he thought, I'm going to go on the adventure, and the first place I'm going to walk is down the path. Jake lived on a quiet street. So he walked down the path, and he walked 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 and he walked, and he met one of his friends. And his friend was... Hang on a minute. His friend's name was?
Joe.
Joe, perfect, that'll do. And his friend Joe was standing listening to some music, and he said, oh, hi Jake, what you up to?
I'm trying to find a red house, no doors, no windows, and a star inside.
Say that again. A red house. No doors, no
windows, and a star
inside.
inside.
I don't get that either.
He didn't get it either.
he said. And Joe said, well, I'm afraid I can't really help you there, mate. But good luck. See you soon.
Bye.
So Jake walked on down the road. He carried on walking, and he walked, 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 and he walked. He was eating his crisps now as well. And he walked, 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 and he walked. And he came across a farmer standing outside his house, leaning on the gate. Hello there, Jake. How are you?
Good.
What you doing?
I'm on an adventure. Can you
An
help me
adventure?
with it? Yeah, can you help me with it?
I can try.
So, I'm trying to find a red house, no windows.
Slow down there, wee lad. You're looking for what?
A red house.
Right,
No doors.
right,
No windows.
right.
And a star inside.
What?
I don't get it either. I thought I
Red
read that
house,
earlier.
no doors, no windows, and a star inside. I've never heard of it. But you know who might be able to help you? Mrs. Miggins. Mrs. Miggins lives in the middle of the forest. Do you know where that is, Jake, sorry.
No.
You don't. Well, if you go down the path there, and
Oh yeah, I remember.
you remember now? So if you go down there, turn right, and then over the bridge, and then you'll find it, right? Okay? Good luck, Jake. So he walked and 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 he walked. And he walked 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 and he walked. Now, he got into the forest. Oh, sorry, Jake, which way did you go to get to Mrs. Miggins' house again?
I went left,
Uh-huh.
over the bridge,
Right.
and straight forwards.
Okay, and that got you to Mrs. Miggins' house. Did you find it easily?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it? Was it still daytime?
No, I had to use my torch.
Did you? Okay. So anyway, he got to Mrs. Miggins' house.
Get my
Excuse me,
torch.
just 1 second.
I need to get my torch.
Mrs. Miggins was sitting on her porch. She was sitting outside her house. Now, she was an old lady. She was an old lady. Even though she was an old lady, she had lovely long black hair. She was sitting outside her house. Ah, there we go.
I need to eat.
She was just sitting there listening to some music. And then she heard a rustling in the leaves. And she said, "Who's there?"
And Jake said, "It's me, Jake.
"Who?
Jake.
Who?"
Jake."
Mrs. Miggins was a bit deaf. She couldn't hear very well. "Come a bit closer."
Jake.
"Oh, hello, laddie. What you looking for?"
I'm looking for a red house.
Right,
No windows.
right,
No doors.
right,
And a star inside.
right. I might be able to help.
Really?
Have you tried listening to the wind? That would be my tip, Jake. Listen to the wind. So Jake thought, what does she mean, listen to the wind? He thought, I asked my friend, he had no idea. I asked the farmer, and he told me to come to see Mrs. Miggins. And Mrs. Miggins has told me to listen to the wind. What does it mean? So anyway, he walked off the porch, and as he walked off the porch, the wind started to blow. And the more he walked out down the path and to her gate, the wind got stronger and stronger and stronger, and the trees in the forest were blowing side to side. The wind was so hard, Jake could barely stand up. Jake decided to walk with the direction of the wind. So he walked with the wind, and he walked with the wind, and he walked with the wind. It took him up a hill. He went up a hill, and at the top of the hill there was a tall tree. And he stood by the tree, and by this time the wind was blowing so hard he could barely stand up. So he decided to grab hold of the tree. While he was holding the tree was shaking side to side. He could barely hold it. He looked up at the tree, and when he looked up, something fell out of the tree. It was
An apple.
an apple. A red apple. And he thought, oh, that's funny. When he looked up again, he saw there were no other apples on the tree, and it wasn't even an apple tree. And he thought, hang on a minute, a little red house. A little red house, no doors, no windows. Maybe there's a star inside. And he shook it next to his ear. Can you hear the star? You can. Can you? I can't. And he thought, now Daddy sent me on this adventure. Maybe my dad can help me find the star. So, he ran back through the forest, down the hill. He ran past Mrs. Miggins' house and he shouted to Mrs. Miggins,
An apple!
I found the little red house! It was an apple! Then he ran back through the forest, down the path, turned left, saw the farmer, and he said to the farmer, hang on a minute.
I found this red apple!
Well done, Jake! I think that might be the answer!
It's a red house.
And he ran back down the path and he saw his friend Joe, and he said,
Red house!
well done, Jake!
Apple, actually.
And he got back to his house, and he came in, he burst through the door, and his dad said, wow! You've been gone for ages! Where did you go?
To a tree, and an apple fell down into my hand.
Well, you see, Jake, I sent you on this adventure knowing that you'd find a little red house. This is a little red house. It doesn't have any doors, and it doesn't have any windows. And Jake said to his dad, but what about...
It's an apple.
Yeah.
And a star.
Where's the star? Said Jake. And his dad said, watch carefully. And his dad went into the kitchen and he got a chopping board and a sharp knife. Now I'm going to turn the laptop down here so you can see this. Now normally when people cut apples, they cut them this way. They cut them through the stalk. But if you turn the apple this way and cut through the apple this way, and cut it in half the other side, inside every apple is a star. Can you see that star, Jake?
Yeah.
A little red house with no doors, no windows, and a star inside. And there's a star inside every apple. But when we cut them the other way, we never get to see it. It's only when we cut them this way that we get to see the star inside. And from then on, when Jake had his tea, or when he had an apple for a snack, he always cut it that way so he could see the star inside. And that is the end of our story. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll do another one soon. Bye bye.